Well, aquariums have come a long way from the days of a big, noisy, smelly tank sitting in the middle of a room taking up space. A Bay Area company has combined aquariums and art to create one of the coolest items in home furnishings, saving you space, time, and money. This is an aquarium as a piece of art. They are said to be man's best friend, and for Bay Area resident Mark McGrath, Nancy the Bulldog is. But 5 years ago, McGrath was inspired to create something that would be more than a pet. It could be a source of relaxation, beauty, and comfort.
About 7 years ago, my mom was in a care facility. She was bedridden, and all she had to look at all day long was a landscape, a bad landscape painting. So we used to kind of laugh about it. So I was kind of daydreaming one day, and I thought, well, maybe I should just bring her an aquarium. There wasn't even enough room in the room for an aquarium. So I was daydreaming. I'm looking at the landscape painting, looking down, no room. An aquarium go on the wall, aquarium. No, it doesn't make any sense. Well, I figured out a way to do it over time, and we prototyped. And the bottom line is what we want to do is bring the ocean to Mom. And we did that.
And from this vision, Piquarium was born. 4 years later, hundreds have been made right here in San Leandro, and all by hand.
It doesn't take up any valuable floor space, and they're very quiet. As you can hear, they're about 98% silent, which is great. It's just kind of a piece of art, or living art, we call it.
The tanks are fresh water. They hang on the wall just like a flat screen TV, not in your wall, and no construction is needed. As for maintenance, Piquarium offers a maintenance service, or you can do it on your own.
Here's the filtration system. The frame covers that. Here's the electrical consolidation system. Here's the pump that powers the bubble wand. You see the bubbles going all the way across and hidden underneath gravel. Over here is the heating system. And of course here, hidden is the lighting system in the top of the tank.
If you can spare about 30 minutes once a month, that's all you'll need to keep it clean. The tanks are extremely quiet, and as far as installation, Piquarium has a service that comes out to install if you are in Northern California. But installation, well, it's basically dummy-proof.
We took great pains 4 years ago to write a manual that leaves no questions, nothing unturned, and we've literally in our history of 4 years, we've had maybe 1 or 2 installation questions. So we did the job right.
Piquariums are in homes, offices, restaurants, schools, doctors' offices, and galleries. Plus, they can ship anywhere in the U.S. within 2 to 6 weeks. If you decide to change your decor, well, you'll have plenty of frames to choose from. In fact, they will even custom design one for you.
Never had a return. We've replaced a few pumps, a few lights, never had a return. And by the way, these are warranted for as long as the owner owns them.
Just recently, Piquarium was chosen from tens of thousands of products to be featured in the San Francisco Designer Showcase, which highlights the finest in home and office decor. The San Francisco Chronicle called Piquarium the highlight of the showcase. All right, as king of fish, and you're able to keep them alive, I have won about 1 million of these over the years at festivals. How do you keep a goldfish alive?
Well, first of all, let me introduce you to Galdo the goldfish. He's Italian, see? And he's a minimalist, as you can also see. He doesn't really have a need for furniture, but he's a happy goldfish. He's very healthy. And when I was a kid, and even in friends of mine and their parents, everybody kills goldfish. So the way to keep them alive is basically this. Once a week, you just want to take about 1/5 of the water out. Maybe dig up the gravel a little bit with your fingers to get some of the sediment and some of the stuff out of there, and dump some of the water out and put some fresh water in. And about the same temperature, should be room temperature. Same temperature as the fish that the water that you've taken out. But that's really it. It's really water changes. You will have a goldfish for a long, long time.
Long time.
If you follow those steps.
What about the saying about overfeeding? Can you overfeed fish?
You can definitely overfeed fish. Yeah, and the basic rule is to feed even in the aquariums or in a little goldfish bowl like this. You feed what the fish can take in about 2 or 3 minutes. You know, what they can eat in about 2 or 3 minutes, and then that's really it. And once a day is fine.
Okay. Yeah. And then what about the old ways? You know, you get these fish, the goldfish, in a baggie. I remember as a kid, we would put the baggie in the water so that it would adapt to that temperature. Is that true, or is that an old wise tale?
No, it's true. In fact, we do that with the Piquariums as well. And you want the temperature in the bag to acclimate to the temperature in the tank or the bowl. But with a goldfish, pretty much you can just dump the baggie in there and then add some water to it about the same temperature. It's fine. You don't have to be it's not as critical with a little goldfish like this.
Well, but for those little kids out there, I remember when I was a kid, this was like my pet. We weren't allowed to have dogs and cats. So for all those kids out there that have their goldfish, thanks, Mark.
Say goodnight, Galdo.
There you go. Good night, Galdo.
Bye, Galdo.
And as for Nancy the bulldog, she still remains McGrath's favorite pet. But his fish, well, they are much more relaxing.
And remember, fish are one of the least expensive pets to buy and maintain, plus no vet bills.
Piquarium Inc. donates a portion of their profits to the American Cancer Society and Rocket Dog Rescue.
For a link to Piquarium, go to realdealshow.com. Just click on resources.